Ugh. Man, losing Instagram fucking sucks. I know that doesn't seem like that big a deal to most people, but I had 6,000 posts, some of which were pictures, some of which were writings, and the sum total of the writings of that fucking page were several books. It was like a journal. It was kind of useless or whatever, but it meant something to me. It's kind of like this place is becoming. I think I'm going to put a lot more effort into this now that all of my fucking shit on Instagram is gone. All of it. And really, this has me thinking more and more about writing a book. The sad part is I lost so many of the pictures I was going to use in said book because a lot of them only existed on Instagram. I don't know where this country's fucking headed, but if they keep doing this shit to everyone, eventually what happens when no one has anything left that they fucking care about? Because that's kind of where I'm at. I've been there many times in the last couple of years where I lose something that is one of the only little things I have left in my life that I actually give a shit about. Let's go down the list. Matt and the boys, gone. Fucking Star Wars, gone. Gun shows, buying guns, that's all fucking gone. Instagram, gone. Like, I know I didn't have much of a fucking life or whatever, but like, it was mine and I liked it. Knife making, pretty much gone. Like, I am kind of trying to rebuild that. That's kind of one of my only plans, is really rebuild the knife shop off grid. At least then I could make something. Like, the main things for that are, I need a new bandsaw. That's the expensive part anyway. Really gonna need a 2x72 belt grinder too, but basically that's either gonna be something I build myself for free or I get a very, very cheap one and modify. And in either case, there's other ways to accomplish what a 2x72 belt grinder does. You can have several other grinding machines that are cheaper and smaller. And that's kind of where I'm at. I think I'm going to do like a 1x42 for sure, because that's handy even if you have a 2x72. And then I'd really like to get another 6x48 belt sander, but those are so big and so expensive and so whatever. And I think honestly a 4x36 would do everything I needed it to do, and those are like $100. And it being such a smaller thing, basically the smaller I can make my tools, the more energy efficient they're going to be inherently. So this is kind of key to making shit in the future, at least in my opinion. This is kind of like with the Instagram thing. I'm no longer storing my pictures on fucking Instagram. You know, I already had a hard drive full of fucking pictures, and I have this phone now that I need to fucking dump before it gets smashed. Because that's what's happened the last few times, is I've had my whole fucking phone just smashed to pieces, and I had whatever was left on Instagram. Now I've got whatever I fucking saved on a second or third fucking Instagram page. I'm glad I did that when I did it. Oh, but like, I'd like to have my fucking knife making tools where they'd fit in a fucking trailer. Which pretty much they already will. It's the good news. And anything that I'm adding to them will be small. And like, things I need to get is, I sold my drill press, and I sold it because it was a Hitachi and it had a bunch of shit broken on it, and I didn't want to fix it. So I was just going to buy a new one. But because it says Hitachi on it, a whole bunch of people pay big money for it. Not big money, but for a broken drill press, quite a bit. I got $75 for a broken drill press, and the new one that I would buy is like $150 or $200. So I figured that's a score towards the positive, really. The sad part is I've had that drill press since high school, but there's so much shit broken on it now that it really needed to be replaced. But yeah, half of the idea of going off grid and smaller with the knife making tools is, okay, they own Instagram. Okay, they own the electrical grid. Okay, they own yada yada yada. They own everything. They're going to continue to own everything. This is half of why the homesteading thing. Like, if they're really going ahead with this fucking, like, great reset bullshit and all this other fucking junk that they want to do, you know, I don't think they're ever going to let us be a part of society, really. So, I'm just planning to go camping all the time. You know? Go camping all the time, figure out some sort of way to make money, and use that money to homestead. It's all we're going to have left. And with the election going the way it is, I don't see that changing, really. Like, I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out. I think it's fucking ridiculous that we don't know the results of a goddamn election within a couple of days. Given how automated everything is, we are watching shit that's going to cause a civil fucking war in this country. And it's not just Instagram. Like, them killing my Instagram doesn't have anything to do with the price of tea in China, other than that they do this shit to people every fucking day. Big tech has pissed off everyone, I think, to some extent. Vast majority of people, anyway. I'm curious to see what happens with Elon Musk and Twitter. I will be, putting all of my efforts into fucking Twitter from here on. I honestly feel like maybe that'll stick around, but the thing I hate about Twitter is it's not Instagram. Basically, I always fucking hated Twitter because you're limited on characters. You can't just see all of your fucking posts. Like, I like Instagram had a fucking grid like your fucking camera roll. It was just someone else's camera roll. YouTube, I honestly like the best of all of them because it's someone else's camera roll of videos. And like, this here is not that much to look at or watch, although I do have some cool toys here we could look at. Mostly what I like to do is radio, and it annoys the piss out of me to have someone read the title of my video, not watch the video and leave a comment. And that's what people used to do when I made videos about guns. So I've been making efforts to have my titles be more and more cryptic, and to have the subjects covered be varied in a video and kind of... Whoa. I hope you guys didn't just see me. I don't think you did. We'll continue as though you did not. Not going to give it away, but, you know, some of us might be naked. Well, it's anytime you're seeing the fucking fan, know that you're in my bedroom, on my bed. Basically, this is the fucking view that men get while I talk to them after we've had sex. That's what you're looking at. Other than, you know, all of that shit in the corner. I don't know what it is with, like, bitches that get dicked a lot, but we all tend to have fucking Buddhist prayer flags and shit. And Christmas lights. You know. Oh. The bandsaw I want to get, I'm going to get a DeWalt. And my reasoning on this is basically I want one that takes the detachable batteries. And I'm going to get a DeWalt battery powered chainsaw. So this way my bandsaw and chainsaw can take the same batteries. And of the tools to have in like my little mobile tool shed on fucking wheels or whatever I'm making eventually, a battery-powered chainsaw and battery-powered bandsaw that I can charge from my solar setups seems like a really good idea. The other thing is, if I do build a trailer eventually to have a shop, we might get quite a bit of solar and put it on the roof of that and get some big batteries and shit, you know? Because you could do like... You could do a simple rig with some like golf cart batteries or something and have considerably more power than what that Blue Eddy has to run the machines. That's shit we probably will do eventually. It's not very high on my list of priorities. But getting a bandsaw to use is high on the list of priorities. And if we know we're going off grid eventually, the reason I sold my old bandsaw was because we needed money. I wasn't going to be bandsawing things, and that particular bandsaw that I had, it worked great, but it would eat a solar battery quick, I would gather. It was made for using in a shop. In reality, I probably shouldn't have sold any of my tools. Like, we shall see. I really think for the stuff that I do, I don't really need a 2x72 belt sander. I need something to sharpen with and a like 4x36. Because, like, for me personally, when I was, like, grinding on knives, I would use the 2x72 and my 6x48 in conjunction. And it would be the 6x48 for the mainst of it, to be honest. And then I would use the 2x72 either when I needed quite a bit of power or needed it in a smaller space. And like the power is what I'm going to miss with the 2x72. And I don't really think there's a good way to replicate that affordably in a fucking trailer or, you know, off-grid fucking thing. I don't know. We'll see. But the power came from it being a fucking, you know, what was it? 3rd horsepower or something like that. 220 wired fucking grinder. Like it had power because of the motor it had and the power source it had. I don't think there's really a way to replicate that, really. Might be wrong. I need like a big ass grindstone. Big ass grindstone would answer a lot of fucking questions for me. But you have to have a way to power that too. So either that'd be like a foot pedal thing, a hand turned thing, or some sort of electrically powered grindstone. But like, I'd even take that. Although that thing probably eats a lot of power. You know, this is kind of where my head is at though, because like, we live in some sort of a weird pseudo 1950s America that is being controlled and forced into existence by big tech and the government, and I don't know why. I think there's a whole bunch of people right now that feel like I do, that can't do dick because of their kids and their debt. And like, this is the thing, is when you deal with me, you're talking to someone that you would call very, very poor, right? Don't have a pot to piss in, according to most people. I don't owe anyone any fucking money, and I don't have kids, nor will I have kids. Who has more money, bitch? Exactly. And this is kind of where, like, all I need at this point really is someplace to build. And a very, very, very small stream of income. And I'm trying to figure that out. I've concluded pretty much that I need small town America, but I don't know where. I don't think small town America, Oklahoma is the place for me. I think small town America, New Mexico might be where I'm headed. Maybe small town America in northeastern Oklahoma. I don't know. Oklahoma has its decided advantages for me because I was born here. All of my shit is here. All of my family is here. I know a bunch of places to go here, basically. That as this situation continues to develop with the banks, the big tech, and the federal government, I kind of think Oklahoma is going to be one of the places a lot of people go to hide. And to already be here and be a citizen of here, like, there's a lot of that I think has benefits coming that people don't see. It matters what state you are a citizen of right now. Because basically, the only thing protecting you from the federal government is your state. So if you have a really shitty state, you have very limited protections against the federal government. You have a very conservative state, yeah, they're going to find it very difficult to fuck with you. Because when they fuck with you, they fuck with the state of Oklahoma. That's why I live here. Maybe that's a little naive or whatever, but like, to some extent, I think that is true. And with the way the courts are going to be going, it's going to be getting a lot more true. They might have the presidency, they might have the Senate for a while. Looks like we're going to get the House at least enough to stop them from doing shit. And we have the courts. And this is where, like, thank God we had 4 years of Trump. The only thing that maybe maintains our republic is the fact that we had 4 years of Trump and he appointed several Supreme Court justices. Not that Trump is all that great of a guy or whatever. Like, this is half the thing when people hear me talk about him. They're like, Trump isn't great, blah, 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 blah. I put it to you that Trump is the best president we've ever had. Short of maybe Reagan. But, like, even Reagan did a bunch of shady shit. Trump, from what I can tell, legitimately just tried to make things better. But was being fought so heavily by the system that he didn't get much done. But the things he did get done were good. And it's taken us 2 years of another president to sort out whether or not Trump was good or not. Let that sink in. There's so much shit going on, man. Like, this is half of why I would encourage you to get a black powder revolver and to start setting your shit up to go off grid and live off grid. And, like, I know you're thinking, black powder revolver, like, why that? Resupply, legality, lots of things. Basically, you're not going to have gun rights where we're going. Learn to use one of these because they'll always be around. That's my advice. I'm going to have other shit. I'm going to bury other shit. But there's a pretty good chance where we're going that I'm going to be carrying this every day. So, and it gets more that way every fucking day. This is some of that, like, Brave New World shit that Honda was talking about. It's pretty much true. Like, myself and those like me starting our life out in the fucking wilderness are the Brave New World people. He and all the rest of them that are going to stay in the cities are the people that are going to be eating Soylent Green soon. That's the way I see it. I'll also add that, like, these are just fun and cool and cheap. Fun, cool, and cheap all in combination. It makes it a highly recommended item. Also, 6 shots. You get 6 shots, but 100%, this will fucking put someone down. And I was talking to Simon Says Train, Big Tony. We were both talking about the fact that, like, this is one of our favorite guns simply for the fact that you can get it without paperwork, and this will handle most self-defense situations inside the United States, believe it or not. It's got 6 shots. That's twice as many as most shootings. Now, let's say you are like a convicted felon or something, and these are your only options. I would have 2. You know, I'd have a pair of these. 12 shots. You know, in reality, I'd probably have 2 pairs of them. When I bought this one, I seriously considered buying 4 of these and making a set of these and a training set of these. And I kind of regret not doing that at the time, because, like, it would be badass to have fucking a full black powder rig and a full training black powder rig just to fucking dry fire with. Not to mention have his spare parts and whatever. Like, I don't know. It's silly. I bought one. I spent $500 on this. Actually, that's not true. I spent $400, and then I bought the sight, which was like 30 something. And then I got this holster, which was like 20 something. And there's a whole bunch of little expenditures with this that I don't remember. But the main thing you should know if you buy one of these is a Pieta. You should know this is a project. This is not really a complete gun as you get it. It might fire. I say that because like the nipples that I put in this thing are significantly better than the ones it came with, and the ones it came with, I dry fired a little bit just playing around with it, and that was enough to completely fuck the nipples. Now, nipples are usually fucked up by dry firing, but not usually as fast as the ones that came on this Pieta. So I would consider this to be most of a gun. Most of a gun. You know, I had to buy nipple wrench, a couple of springs. I had to redo the grips, and the front sight, the XS shotgun bead that I modified to fit. I didn't do tritium, I did the glow in the dark. And the reason I did the non-tritium was because I wasn't sure that tritium doesn't explode when you heat it up. Which, when you take a sight like this to a belt sander, it heats it up. I think I've told that story about a dozen fucking times on here, but it's one of those, like, I think this gun's cool. I don't even remember what else we're talking about. I've kind of forgot what the video is about because I've been smoking weed. Taking my shop off grid because we're doomed. That's kind of like, you know, the cool part is really, if I fill a trailer, like a 5x8 trailer with all of my blacksmithing shit, I could deploy that pretty much anywhere in the world and build a blacksmith shop in a day. And from there, build an empire. This is kind of why I'm figuring, like, if I do that, if I have the van with a parachute canopy over it, and then the trailer that I'm bringing along to turn into like a pseudo living room kind of a thing, like, this could pretty rapidly be a pretty dope homestead. Instant homestead, basically. It's like the blacksmith shop. All I'm gonna do for that is put some posts in the ground and or find trees that are correct and build a square box of a fucking roof frame with a little bit of a pitch to it, and then frame it out with a few 2x4s and whatever in some sort of a fucking order that makes sense. And then I'm going to sheet it all in either corrugated metal roofing or the corrugated clear plastic roofing. Since it's the blacksmith shop, the clear plastic roofing is probably going to be what it's going to get. Although there's some argument to be made for the corrugated metal too. I don't know. But once you have that up, you put, plywood walls on 2 sides of it or 3 sides of it. Make the other 1 or 2 sides screen with screen doors, and make at least one of the sides have a big ass like barn door kind of a thing. It's not that hard to make a blacksmith shop. You can have a dirt floor. The improvement over a dirt floor for a blacksmith shop is a brick floor, which is real easy to do. This is kind of where, like, that initial building being easy to make makes your life easier, in my opinion. You have some place to work on everything else. And because you're building a blacksmith shop in the woods, shit like a miter saw and a table saw might behoove you to have as well. Have a wood shop kind of attached with it. I'm gonna need to get that shit. But in reality, that shit can all come later. You'd be amazed what you can do with a bandsaw and a chainsaw. I really do want the little DeWalt electric chainsaw to go with my bandsaw. I think that's going to be a killer combo. Especially, I'm basically planning on just adding more DeWalt tools as I go. So like a DeWalt circular saw and Sawzall and that kind of shit. Need to get land. It's one of those like, need land, need tools, need so much shit that like the list basically is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. At least some things are close to getting done. My list of stuff I need for my car is short. That's what I'm choosing to focus on right now. I've got maybe about $600 worth of shit for the car that I need. I'll take care of that rapidly. The shit that's going to slow me down is all the Coleman surplus stuff. I've got, there's probably $1,000 worth of shit from Coleman's that I want, and I'm only ordering like maybe $300 worth of it that I need for the car. So like, I don't know. As soon as the car is done, it might be tempting just to fucking knock out the Coleman surplus list. But I've also been looking at like, dude, I need to hit Costco again. I really need to make like a big fucking grocery run. Like, I still have food. I still have food for like, I don't know, several more years. But I could use a serious grocery run. And it would be to like fill in gaps. And fill in like, I had protein bars. I've pretty much eaten through all the protein bars. I need to go restock. Shit like that. You know. I ran out of protein bars last month, and I bought them in October. Was it October 2021? So yeah, I had protein bars for a year. It's time to go restock. A whole bunch of shit like that though, like, you know, not really out of anything, but like it would be nice to get more of X, Y, or Z, and it would be really nice to get some of, you know, LMNOP to fill in some fucking holes to make meals. So I got to do that. I kind of figure I'm gonna make like a $600 Costco run, which is not as much as it used to be, sadly. When I was buying food last year, I made like 12 trips to Costco, and almost every one of them was over $600. And that was in the before times prices. This is one of those like, man, what did you buy? Everything. Bought everything. Yeah. I also think I'm going to get at least a couple $100 worth of tequila. And my thinking on that basically is, with the weirdness in the world that's coming up, I'm going to buy all the alcohol I'm going to drink for the next probably 10 years. Which isn't that much. But I want nice shit. So I think I'm going to start buying big bottles of tequila. Not to mention the shit that I buy, Jose Cuervo Gold, that has significant barter value. So it's kind of dual fold. I haven't been prepping alcohol up to this point because I don't really consider it serious. When all this kind of started, I quit drinking. And the day I quit drinking, I also bought a giant fucking thing of Jose Cuervo Gold. And I was like, well, at least we'll have margaritas. And that one thing of Jose Cuervo Gold lasted me a little over a year. And I just bought a second one. And I've been kind of going through it because, as it turns out, my ear infection, it's complicated, but sour things help it because it's not just the ear. It's like a salivary gland thing or something. And I had a margarita, and between the alcohol and the sour and the salt, I felt so much fucking better. I've been having the occasional one ever since. My ear infection's pretty much fucking gone. So as it turns out, the thing that was missing from my life was margaritas. Yes. I don't know. But I'm not going to keep drinking margaritas like they're going out of style. But I'm definitely going to keep the shit around to do it. Especially given that, like, I have a mix that I like that's shelf stable. I think it's Master Mix's margarita mix. It's like $6.99 a bottle, and it's good. And I'm going to stock a couple things of margarita salt. And maybe a couple things of lime even. I know that seems like fucking extravagance or whatever, but like in reality, half of the reason that the margarita was helping with my fucking ear infection and shit is I needed electrolytes. I haven't been fucking, I haven't been buying Gatorade and shit. I've just been drinking water. This is reason enough to keep the fucking margarita shit around, in my opinion. I'd rather have that than Gatorade around. And the fucking tequila is something that has about 100 fucking uses. Margaritas, the poor man's Gatorade. And I'm kind of joking about that, but I'm also kind of serious about that. Like, between the alcohol, the margarita mix itself, and the salt, and the lime juice, and the water from the ice, and everything else, like, it's fuel. Maybe that's just like my own fucking like margarita loving ass idea of the way things are, the way things should be, or whatever. I'm probably gonna go make another margarita. I kind of figured that, like, I'm already a little drunk, and this morning, what I did was I had 2 margaritas, and I smoked the majority of this cart, and I watched Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock on Joe Rogan. And I think I'm going to go do that again because I kind of fell asleep. So my goal this time is to not fall asleep. But like now I have a new thing to do for like the next 2 months probably. This is gonna be my thing to do, is get really fucking baked and watch Randall Carlson and Joe Rogan. I already did that to some extent. I really like the old episodes that they did. I could watch those three talk about that shit for forever. So if you have not watched the new Joe Rogan, Randall Carlson, Graham Hancock episode, it's like 2 or 3 episodes back on his Spotify. I would highly recommend that. And I would definitely go make a margarita and smoke a little bit of weed while you watch it. Seems like we're going to have to start enjoying the little things. At least that's my take on a lot of stuff. For me personally, I'm kind of withdrawing from the internet. I'm still going to do this for you people. I'm still going to try to post something on Instagram and Twitter. I think Instagram, I don't know. I made a new Instagram that is Rachel's Place 262. It was the Harvard University of Guns. If I post anything at all, it's going to be there. Or Klein Knives. Klein Knives, I'm